Go. That's just stuff. Hey, Sergeant Grass, how you doing, buddy? Oh my. I'm in PA. Good, I'm glad to hear it. Where are you at, Grass? Hi, Pernell. Thanks for popping in. This time, the stream is on my phone, so I won't have that crazy nonsense going on with the laptop from last time. And I'm on cellular right now, so if the stream gets all crazy, just let me know and I'll switch over to the Wi-Fi. Maryland. All right. You're not too far away. Well, perspective, I guess. Hanging out here for a few minutes and see who pops in. Just chat with you for a bit. And then we'll get started. I want to build a few hours. It's not bad. Hi, Mrs. T. Thanks for popping in. So tonight I want to build, or today I want to build a jewelry box or a keepsake box, because I have this really nicely figured cherry, but it's got a bunch of inclusions in it, so I can't use it for a big project. So I want to do some small projects with it. Hey, Cleveland, what's up, buddy? Yes, it is, Miles. Yes, it is. This is one of the cups that stays out here in the garage, in the freezer. Yeah, so I figured I'll make a little jewelry keepsake box. Oh yeah, he had texted me and said he was getting ready to leave, so he would probably just be listening for a bit. Hi, Turner. Yeah, so we'll probably get a twisted ankle. Oh man. What'd you do, Cleveland? Grass, this is just a little bit of whiskey. It's actually, well, the hell with it. It's this. Hey, Dade, what's up? It's not crazy strong or anything, so it's just got a nice flavor. It's my my garage drink. Well, when I'm gonna be playing with power tools drink. Oh man, Cleveland. It's really good. It's got a nice chocolate taste with a little bit of peanut butter. And it doesn't have the whiskey burn that a lot of people don't like about it, or about whiskey, is that burn. It doesn't really have that, but it's also only 60% or 60 proof, so the good whiskey's in the house, in the bar. So I figure I'll have a little nip of this and hang out with you guys for a minute, and then get to making some noise and some sawdust. I got my little football guy project all done. Made it in time, and they really liked it. So yeah, it's a lot like a peanut butter cup, with a bite. But yeah, they really liked the football project, so staying up late last night wasn't a total waste. They got me set up for another project in January, so they're going to give me more than a week's notice this time, so that'll be great. Um, yeah, so sorry I wasn't crazy active last night on Turner's Chat, but a little busy, a little behind. Yeah. Yeah, the last minute shit is just wonderful. Here pretty soon, it'll be last minute Christmas stuff. Everybody will want something tomorrow, you know. But it is what it is. I don't mind money. Yeah, so we got a bunch of you in here. Been up for, I don't know, 7 minutes, so about ready to make some sawdust. Hi, Janelle. Thanks for coming. We're gonna be making a like a keepsake jewelry box type thing tonight. I would like to do 2 different styles. One style I've made a ton of. Hi, Maya. The other style I've never made before, so it'll be a first if we can actually accomplish that. If not, the jewelry box will probably not be completed on one live. I'll probably have to put it up, and on next Saturday's live, we'll probably finish it. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see how far we get. I don't have any. I don't. No, Granny, it's not apple pie. I've been waiting on that package to come. Unfortunately, I couldn't make it down to your Happy Time in the Park show that you had. I do have apple pie in the house, but I'm willing to bet it is not as good as your apple pie. In fact, I'm 100% willing to bet it's not your apple pie, or as good as yours. We don't have really good apple pie up here. We have some junk that they let you buy in the store. And man, it's terrible. And it gets the flavor across, I guess, but it's night and day difference. I'm just gonna move some stuff around so I can get to my board here. See if maybe I can't show you. Let's see if just hide the chat. That's good. Bonfire day. Hey, I got a nice burn pit. Well, it will be a nice burn pit next year. And one of my videos will be replicating the old covered swing thing that was here 2 owners ago. He built it, and it has lasted, according to the one neighbor, it's been up around for about 15 years now. No, Janelle, no, never. Every time I come out to the shop, I usually have a little bit Nothing crazy. I don't get drunk now. But this is the cherry. I don't know if you can see all that figuring. Oh. It is required. Oh, I messed up my camera. Granny, we'll get you. You let me know when you want to come up here. We'll get you set up. Grass, I've got a Blackstone back here. I've got a gas grill up there. I got a charcoal grill. I got a smoker. And I'm going to have a grate so that it can swing out over the fire, because there's just nothing like a nice cooked steak. I'll even provide the steak, if Granny provides the apple pie. All right, so I guess might as well get some of this stuff set up. I did do a whole bunch of cleaning in here. I got the roof insulation all done. So I don't know if you can hear it if the camera picks it up, but there's like a ticking every second or so. That's the little heater. So sorry if it's bothering you guys. Just let me know and I'll turn it off if I have to. But since I sealed up the roof and I no longer have that open hole with air blowing in, it has gotten much warmer in here. Yeah, definitely can't find anything. Carb talk. Hi, Matthew. Thanks for popping in. Scroll through here, make sure I didn't. All right. Yeah, everything kind of got moved around, and I think I have most everything in one general area. Probably not, though. Everything that I want to use is probably not there. But, so we are going to make a box probably about maybe 4 by 7. I had a tape measure. It's going to be about 4 by 7 and probably 4 inches tall, maybe 3 inches tall. It does sound like a leaky pipe, but it's that thing up there. It's got a it's got a that little fuel pump thing is the ticker, but good Lord, it's loud. If you touch it, it quiets up. So I don't know if it's what I have it mounted to. I might have to change where it's mounted. Maybe it'll quiet down a little bit. Measure once, or measure never and cut 4 or 5 times. But I think a 4-inch tall box by 8 by 5. Alan, what's up, buddy? So we'll see how this works out. This cherry that I have here is only 3/4 of an inch thick. I picked it up from a guy. I went the guy that I bought the purple poplar from, actually, he was going to throw it on his burn pit because he couldn't use it for anything, and I convinced him that I needed to have it, and no, he gave it to me. I ran it through the planer a few times, sent him a picture of what it looked like after it was plain, and he said that he definitely didn't charge me enough for it. So it's lost. So I'm going to try to find a spot in here that's got some nice figuring, probably about halfway down, and cut a section out of it. We're going to be running the planer. That will definitely make a big mess because I still don't have my dust collection out here. Until I get the shop completely cleaned out and properly set up, the dust collection will stay in the house. I'll just sweep it up. And it lets me find all the cobwebs. So, there's that. So yeah, we'll, when I run the planer, I will mute the chat because we discovered that this saw doesn't make that much noise, so it doesn't, or at least it's not too abrasive on chat. But the planer, I'll mute the chat, or I'll mute the stream, and making boxes for all the fishing gear. Yeah. This one I'm going to make as a jewelry box. I think I'm going to make it for a friend of mine. I've been wanting to make one that's out of this wood for a long time. And I've worked my way down through the pile to it, and I went, I should probably jump on that. So, we'll see. We'll see how it turns out. And then I want to try that new style. So the style that we're going to make right now is going to be just a box. So you make 4 sides, you make a lid, or you inset a top and you inset a bottom into the 4 sides. Janelle, I do that. The eggs I've been buying have come in a cardboard thing, that little like paper tray. So it works really nice when you fill it up with wax and sawdust. Then you can just rip off one of the little eggs, or pulp, whatever you call them. You can just rip it off and use that whole thing. Hi, John. Thanks for stopping in. Appreciate it. So the first box, you make all 4 sides. You inset the top and you inset the bottom. So it's just a cube, a hollow cube. And then once that dries, you pick whichever side is going to be your top and you run it through the table saw. And that cuts the lid off of it. And then you have a perfect fitting lid for the box. You don't have to play around with measurements or anything. We're not going to put hinges on it. We're going to line it with a little bit of foam. Like, let's see if I have some right here. Stuff like this. I don't know if you can really see that. It's like paper on both sides with some hard foam in between. And then so you cut these pieces down to fit as the liner of the box, and you leave them stick up just a little bit. So that way the lid has something to reference to when you put it on. And it's not the strongest thing in the world because it is just foam, but the box shouldn't be getting beat up too much. So, and then you take this and you spray some adhesive onto it, let that tack up and dry, and then you can put on a liner. And I like to line each individual piece, so I'll do 4 sides and a bottom, and I'll line each one of them with I use this stuff I can buy at we have a place called Hobby Lobby. I don't know if anybody else has that. Headliner foam? I don't think so. I think it's like a foam project board. I don't know. It's only about 1/4 of an inch thick, if that. No, it's about 3/16 of an inch thick. It came in like a, I don't know, 12 by 12 board. You get it in different colors. I just got black because. Nice, Matthew. Nice. So Hobby Lobby, if you don't have one, it's like a giant craft store. They won't be open on Sunday, which is tomorrow. But I can stop in there, and they have a nice little fabric department where you can still buy fabric, surprisingly. And they sell this stuff that's kind of like crushed velvet. It's foam board. Yeah. Hi, Henrik. No worries, buddy. Anyway, so you get the crushed velvet stuff, and if you spray this with adhesive first, so that it can tack up, it won't soak through the velvet, and it makes a really nice drawer liner. Yeah. If any of you are on my Facebook page, there's a set of nightstands that I did. They're black, made out of oak, and the drawer and the top, like you opened the top up, all of those were lined with this and that purple velvet stuff. So I think the box I'm gonna do, I don't know, whatever color I decide I like when I'm there. I'll probably buy a couple yards of each color that they have available, just so I have it on hand. And we'll see what goes good with cherry and that piece. Oh, you can't see it. That piece of purple poplar back there, that's going to be the inset lid and Pacific Jewlery cloth. I'll look that up, Janelle. I've never seen that. I've never looked for it, but I've never seen that. I didn't even know that was a thing. That probably would be a great idea for lining jewelry boxes. Good tip. Thank you. But the purple poplar, because that piece has a lot of inclusions in it, I can't really use it for anything big, much like this cherry here. I'm going to make the top and bottom out of that. So we'll see how it looks. I think it'll look good together. The cherry should be nice and bright. Cherry will age and darken with UV. So if you put it outside in the sun, in about 2 weeks, it'll be as dark as it'll ever get. The lumber shack. Is that my fault, John? It's because you're on here? So, there's so much pretty wood on here. I'm going to try to either work around any knots or inclusions, cracks and things. Well, not cracks, but let's see. I'm going to turn my phone off. Oop. Ignore that hole up there. I haven't filled it yet. So I kind of want to avoid any of this stuff. Wow, my hands are dirty. I want to avoid having any of that in the box. If it's on the inside of the box, that's fine if it doesn't go through. But little ones like that, probably not so bad. I mean, I have all of this room, like this is about 2 inches here. But I think this is cherry. It really looks like it. Pretty sure it is. Anyway, it might not be cherry. But I'd really like the... Oops, orientation is locked. Okay. But I'd rather like this, but I got this here, and this goes all the way through. I don't want to play with that. I mean, this straight grain here is not bad, but I want something that's like this, you know, all crazy. So we got this section here. This would be all right. Just cut this piece out. I think that would look pretty cool. I could probably cut this out and cut that out. It just gets like a wavy cathedral. Janelle, I will definitely check into that. Because that would definitely be useful. I'd like to make some jewelry boxes to, you know, to put up for sale, and use as gifts and things like that. I really like the way this piece looks here. I don't know how far those go. Those go through, but they can see how one side of the board is a little more poorly, like that's a big knot area. But anyway, we'll figure this out. Let me get this switched back around. Sorry for the hand. There we go. It is really interesting. I like to highlight grain. The straight grain is fine. A lot of people want straight grain. I don't like it. I think straight grain is boring. The figure, like in all of my pieces, everything that I make, I try to highlight the grain, because the wood is ultimately what I'm selling, and I think that is what makes a piece. That's the difference between an amazing piece and a good piece, I think, is the way it looks, the visual appeal. Now, if you don't like the curl and the wave and stuff, then you're not going to like the stuff that I make, and you'll want straight grain. You know, everybody has their own taste, but for this, since I'm making this for me, well, for now, we'll see if it goes to somebody, but if it turns out good, it might. But yeah, Matthew, I'm thinking that on the if I can keep the knot on the inside, if it doesn't come through far enough that you know, running it through the planer will show on the outside. Like this, the little tiny inclusions, that's fine. That's not a big deal. I'll fill it with CA glue or something after finish, or just before finish, and we'll go from there. Because the little tiny inclusions, they add character. Oh, a live edge fan. I like live edge. I try to, as often as I can, I try to create a live edge on a lot of my stuff. Like, as long as you follow, like here, I don't know if you guys can't see, but so this grain kind of curls up and then back down. So if you were to make that into a live edge with, you know, some work with the sander or the jigsaw or whatever, if you follow that grain pattern, then it'll look like a natural edge, and you can make some pieces that aren't live edge look like really nice live edge. The dining room table that I'm going to build is going to have 2 live edges. My bar top has live edge. Oh, well, even the front and sides are live edge. They're built out of at. My bar is built out of a cherry slab on the top, which is gorgeous. I'll have to show you guys sometime. And then the sides and front are all ash, 1 inch thick ash cuts, whatever you want to call it. Just took the log and sliced an inch off, and we took that and put it. That is what the whole side and front of the bars are built out of. It's absolutely gorgeous. I managed to keep all of the bark on. None of the bark came off during the drying process or anything, so lucked out. Got to keep all that. I think it looks better with the bark on, but the bark doesn't always stay on, so it is what it is. So I think I could take this piece. I think I'm going to try to go. I'm going to go for this piece down here. So I'm going to flip this around. Maybe. Oh, goodness, this is tall. Poke a hole in my ceiling. I'm going to go for. I think I'm going to go for this section here. Oops. I think I'm going to go for that section so I can have just all of this in it. Maybe that. Well, we'll see. I'm going to cut it down. We'll see how it looks. Yeah, my bar is. Oh, I love my bar. I have a really long living room, and that bar has been sitting at the end of that living room for years. For about 4 years, it's been sitting there. And it's heavy. It'll never move. It'll never go anywhere else. The original plan was to finish the basement and put the bar down there and have like a chill area. And then I realized how heavy that bar was, and it is not going down my stairs. Not at all. So, we're going to try. We're going to try this. So, I apologize if this gets loud, but I'm going to make a cut here. I hope it doesn't get loud like anything else. I put a stand over here, but my stands are always occupied holding up lumber. Oh, it's going to take forever. So these boxes, they're very easy to make if you can make proper 45-degree miters. So typically, the smaller the project, the more precise your angles have to be. Okay, Janelle. thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it, and I appreciate the tip. So I'm gonna try to move this over here because, you know, why not play with camera angles a little bit? I'm gonna have to turn that so it doesn't drop my phone. There we go. All right, so I'm thinking I'm gonna cut it here. And we'll go from here. Was that ridiculously loud? Thank you, Janelle. Thank you. It sounded really loud on my end. I hope that wasn't too loud for you guys. All right, good deal. Okay, so we've got a couple of more cuts that we have to make because we ultimately want this to be down to right about working length. But we want it to be long enough that I can send it through the planer. Okay, so now that we don't have the entire board to play with, we'll make a couple of cuts here. And I think we'll go right on the edge of this little inclusion here. Looks like a bark hole of some sort. It probably was a tree branch coming through there. So we'll take this off and then we will mill this piece down and use that for hopefully both boxes. If not, there's plenty here. All right, one more crazy cut. That's got some. That's kind of pretty on there. In my planer, I can go. I'll get back to you on the thickness, the max thickness that I can put in the planer because it's turned around, so the thickness gauge is on the other side. But I think this one is 8 inches. But I'm not 100%. Matthew, you know, I thought about that. There's a lot of things that I can do with boards that have inclusions, particularly like, so Turner Fishing's logo, it has a lot of empty space in it. So if you position the logo properly, you can have it go around an inclusion, or like his fish logo, you could put that on the inclusion like this and make it look like it's part of the fish, and then you would just fill it with either some hot melt or you know, CA glue or whatever. Yeah. It does kind of, yeah. But now that I cut this, I'm not entirely sure this is cherry. Kind of seems like it might be hickory. But whatever. We're gonna make a box of some sort. Flick you off. I never flick you off. Well, I don't flick you off on camera. I'm still here. I'm just maneuvering stuff so it's not in my way here. Get the board situated back on where they belong. All right. So I think this piece we will send through the jointer and the planer. Now, typically, so a planer isn't going to make things flat without a sled and some work. But it will make it the same thickness. And this is 3/4 of an inch right now, and we need it down to be about 3/8. So if I can get it to have nice smooth sides on at least one side with enough thickness, I'll run it through the table saw and we'll put a straight edge on it, run it through the table saw and cut it into strips. My little benchtop jointer can only go up to 6 inches wide. So then we can run it through the jointer if need be, if they're all wonky. But if I have enough thickness after we get it milled down, then I can resaw it on the table saw. And I just have to be under 13.5 inches wide, and my widest bit here is about 12 1/8. So we should be plenty there, or have plenty of room there for the planer. This little fuzzy side is going to make it unhappy, but it is what it is. So we're going to put this up for now. So one thing I was thinking about, just to talk while I'm getting stuff moved around. One thing I was thinking about was I noticed that a lot of the woodworking channels on YouTube, a lot of them have seemed to have turned into tool review channels, and less about the woodworking, more about the tools, which is fine. I won't fault anybody. I can't fault anybody for making money. But I decided that I definitely don't want to do that. I have zero interest in reviewing tools. Well, I'm sorry, I don't want to say I have zero interest in reviewing tools. I have zero interest in reviewing tools without actually using them. Like that chop saw. I use it all the time. I use it every day. Wonderful tool. But anyway, that was just my little thought while little random thought I had today. You know, like I still haven't done anything with this tree yet. Been a touch busy, but that is definitely on the list. Put this down here. Put these in here. Oh, there goes all that. Man, that thing is heavy. At some point, I'm going to stop building anything and I'm going to make a stand for this with wheels. Because this thing clocks in at like 95 pounds or something. It is nuts to be picking up and putting down all the time. Well, that's not going to work. There. I want to blow the wood chips at the door instead of back into my shop because I just sweat back here. So we're going to do that first. So max thickness on this thing is looks like 6 inches, which pretty much anything that I really have any interest in doing, or at least running through this. So Yes, yes, I have grass. I very much have. Not this table. This table was just a temporary thing to get by. Yeah, yeah, I definitely need to get a stand. I'm going to build one. It'll be similar to this, but it's going to. It's obviously going to have casters, um, and I'll probably put a cabinet down here for storage because storage is important. Um, and then this thing will be mounted to it instead of being able to slide around. But when I start this thing up, I will mute the stream because, well, hang on a second. It's kind of loud. And it only gets louder when you run wood through it. Matthew, I'm in the process of rewiring the garage with its own dedicated power box out or breaker box over here. So there was going to be a whole lot better outlet deals, and yes, I'm thinking that a hanging outlet right in the center of the shop is going to work out great. One of those like cord reels for anything that I need it for. Scroll through here. Okay. Turn the camera. All right. Okay, so the thing about a straight knife planer, which is what this is, that's funny, Grass. The thing about a straight knife planer is you have to pay attention to wood grain. So them knives turn this way, right? So they're trying to shove the knife back at you. And I haven't put a helical head in this, so if this grain is running this way and that knife catches it, it's going to tear it out. The thing is with figured stuff that has grain going every different direction, you just kind of got to pick the best way to go and take small passes, light passes. That way there's less of a chance of it digging in and ripping out chunks. So we're going to hope that I don't tear out a huge bit of this. You know, I really should, before I build anything in here, I should pour on some self-leveler because I'd really like to have a table that doesn't wobble. It's a good thing I got wood shims just laying everywhere. Okay, so we're gonna make a couple of passes with this. Do you guys want to watch the in-feed side or the out-feed side? Watch all the sawdust blowing out of it or something? Right here? Alright. I'm going to mute this then, and I'm going to make a couple passes with this, and we'll be right back. Okay. That didn't take as much as I thought it would. We are... The other side isn't milled up, obviously, but we are about a 1/16 of an inch under 3/4. So that turned out really good. You guys seen my paper blowing off the... I have tint, mirrored tint on the garage door windows, but when there's light in here, the mirror tint doesn't do anything. So figured it was probably best to not have people seeing what is in my garage, because the road is straight out my driveway. Not that far away. But this is how that piece turned out. I think that turned out really nice. And I still can't decide if this is cherry or not. I feel like it could be. It's got a reddish tint to it. But I kind of think... I don't know. I kind of think it might be hickory. Doesn't smell like hickory, but, you know. So, yeah, there's that. Okay, so now that I have a finished edge on that, we'll break out the table saw and we'll cut it down to strips that we're going to use for the height, which I think we decided was going to be about 4 inches. And then we'll see if I have enough thickness to resaw it through the table saw. And then we'll run each of the resaws back through the planer. So I'm just kind of move this out of the way and bring the table saw over. But, so I think I'm going to my dust collection in the basement shop is like a shop vac with some 5-gallon buckets that do its own little swirly thing. There's 100 different YouTube videos on it. And I may end up having to just bring that out here because I don't know if you can see all of that, but man, there's dust everywhere. Now the dust collection that I want out here, I believe I said this last time, is I'm going to get a dust collection blower sucker thing, the motor, and pipe it outside into a trailer. That way I don't have to worry about emptying the bags. I don't have it blowing the fine dust back into my shop. None of that, so. And in the event that so I'll have to ground if I use PVC, I'll have to ground it so that way it doesn't build up a static charge, because it will. And the static charge is usually where the fire comes from. But at least if there is a fire, it's contained outside. And not in the wood shop, which is probably the worst place to have a fire. But, so, we're going to see how straight that edge is. That's not very straight. All right. Not a problem. We're going to make a little straight edge here. So we need, what's the width of this? So this is 2 1/8. So I need to add 2 1/8. Well, you know what? We'll worry about it later. We'll just put a straight edge on this for now. So we're going to do that. Lock that down. Put clamps on it. I really appreciate everybody popping in. Whether you can stay or not, doesn't, you know. Just the fact that you're here is awesome and greatly appreciated. So one of the things you can do to create a straight edge is you can take something like a level. This is a 4-foot long level. And you can attach it to your fence, which then gives you a much longer area that you're running your wood across. So it allows you to create a straighter edge than if you're running it like this piece against this fence. The fence is going to follow that curve until it gets to the point that it pushes that curve away. So like this edge is higher and this edge is higher. This edge sets in further. So it would follow this curve, and then this piece would start pushing it away. And then you're just going to end up with a curved cut or binder's blade and kickback. But with a longer fence, like this level, you now get both high ends are touching that fence, so you run a nice straight cut, which is going to be as straight as this fence is. And this level is straight because it doesn't get used for anything but this, really. There we go. That'll work. Might have to take 2 passes on it, but that should be alright. In fact, we'll move that over a little bit. As long as this doesn't come off of here. Alright. Okay. Let me know if this is loud, and I'll mute the stream. Alright? Is that too loud? Okay. All right. So we're going to blade up the height of our wood. It gave us a relatively straight line, except for back here where I moved it a little bit. But that's something that I can take care of with the jointer, so that's not a big deal. Alright, so we can get rid of this. So I'm going to cut these. We want 4-inch wide strips. So I'm going to cut them into probably 4 1/4, because I'm going to have 1/8 of an inch that goes away with the blade curve when I cut the lid off. And then plus I'm going to have wood that I get rid of with the jointer and sanding. So we're going to make it about 4 1/4. So that would put me a strip right through here, and I don't want that. I want this piece. So we're gonna make this first piece the first offcut. A little shorter. And we're gonna we'll move you guys over here. Why not? See if I can't get this stupid bendy neck thing to work out. Oh, hang on, I loosened it. I'm gonna spin you around. All right, there. How's that? All right. Let me know if this is too loud, and I'll mute the stream. Hi, Squirrely. Thanks for stopping in, buddy. All right, so that cut got rid of all this straight grain wood to allow me to have my 4 1/2 inch cut out of this more figured stuff, which is what I want. We're going to put that blade up just a little bit. Alright, so 4 1/2 inches from there. We'll put us right across that. Right across the top of this. So we'll have all of this figured. Yeah, Squirrely, I'm glad you could stop in. We're making a jewelry box, or a keepsake box, out of what I thought was cherry, but now I'm starting to think that it's hickory. But whatever. It still looks pretty, and we're gonna go with it. It's going to have top and bottom out of purple poplar, which is that stuff back there. There's not very much in the way of big pieces in there that I can use for anything other than small projects. So we're gonna we're going to utilize some of that wood for small projects. All right, I'm going to make this this 4.5-inch cut to get our box height, and I will be right back. All right. Probably help if I set that thing down proper. So, this is what we have that our box sides are going to be made out of. Now, that, to me, is infinitely nicer than this. The straight grain. I don't know. It just looks nicer to me. If somebody wants to give me dollars for straight grain stuff, then I will happily give them straight grain stuff. But, okay, so what we need to do now is I need to get the jointer out, and we're going to see if you can see that. Where's the camera? So if you see all that kind of rough edge, those little saw marks in there, that's what the jointer is going to take care of. We're going to smooth those all out, and then we're going to run down this side, because this is the uglier side. This will be the inside of the box. Oh, I got a splinter. We are going to, before we cut it down, well, we're gonna mill it first. So we'll run it through the jointer, and then we'll mill it. We'll cut it in half. We'll resaw it on the table saw. Then we'll run it through the planer a final time, get everything nice and smooth. All right, Squirrely, thanks for stopping in, buddy. And then once we run it through the planer the last time, we'll come back over here and we'll cut our little notches in to put the lid in the bottom. All right. So I'm gonna grab the jointer, and we're gonna just set it right on this table saw. But I gotta put something down first. So. We'll do this. I got a bunch of scrap plywood laying around. Alright, so here's the jointer. This is just a little 6-inch benchtop jointer. Not a big deal. Nothing fancy. Not for this shop, anyway. I would love, absolutely love, at some point to come across an 8-inch floor model. Well, that day will come at some point. So, I'm gonna run this through. Let me know if this gets loud, and like I said, I'll mute the stream. But we have the one side that we already surfaced on the planer, so we want that side to be against our fence here. All right, like that. So that will be our reference side for making these two sides smooth. And we're just going to do a little skim on them. We'll go with that. We'll see how that works. About a 32nd of a cut. We're going to clamp that down. Okay. All right, so we got some nice squared up edges. They're squared up to this space. So now we will get a little bit of rough spots where it caught the grain, but those will sand out. That won't be a problem. So you can get rid of this. We can get rid of that. And now we want to find the center of our board. So we want to keep this face to the fence. All right. And then we're going to saw through. And then when we take it off and do the other half, we're going to flip it end over end so that we have the same distance. And before we do that, you got to make sure that the blade is at 90 degrees to the table. Now to do that, I've got this little digital angle gauge. Okay, this is just a. I get that this one that I picked up on Amazon. So put it on here. We'll zero it to our table. Okay. And then we will stick it to our fence. And I see that we're at 89.8. So we will adjust that. To a perfect 90. Or at least this says it's 90. See? That says it's 90 degrees. So And so we'll take that off, power that down. Yeah, I wasn't sure about that from Amazon, but well, it has turned out to be rock solid. Wasn't sure if I'd be able to get away with getting a cheap one, or if I would have had to go to somewhere like Rockler and get a more expensive one. Now, we will not be able to cut through this in one pass, nor would I want to. Ideally, you want to cut through at most about halfway on one side, and then flip it and cut through just under. You want just a little bit holding that wood together, so that way the cut doesn't bind and pinch your blade. Yeah, Janelle. Did my chat get all goofy? Oh, okay. All right. So we definitely don't want to go through more than about halfway, which would probably be somewhere around there. But our first cut, we're going to do a nice light cut. But we got to find halfway. We're going to find the center of our board. And we can be a little heavy on this side, so it's a little thicker on this one, because the planer will eventually even them both out. But we are... That is not detailed enough. All right. So we are a 32nd under half. So we need to be, or we're a 32nd under 3/4. So if we go for 3/8, if we split the 3/8 so that the saw kerf is, the middle of the saw blade is at 3/8, we should be able to get it fairly close. And then that planer will go down to 1/8 of an inch thick, and I can even adjust the screw to make it go even lower. So my saw blade is about 1/8 of an inch thick. So if I put 3/8 in the center of the blade, drop it down a 1/16, that should be all we need to do. Yeah, Janelle, they do have some good ideas. And I'm not an expert at everything. In fact, I'm probably an expert at nothing. And I am not too proud to admit there are a lot more people out there that are smarter than I am. And people who have thought of different things than I have. All right. So, let's make our first cut. Oh. Probably help if I plugged it in. I don't have that wireless power out here yet. Alright. When you're doing stuff like this, you obviously can't have the guard on. So be mindful. There's a sharp blade here. Alright, don't do anything crazy. So that gave us heavy on the side that hasn't been surfaced yet. So that'll be all right. I suppose I should have bumped it over just a nudge more. Probably about my 16th of an inch. And that probably would have put it right in the center. But we want this side to be a little heavy because we got to surface this yet. So it's fine. We'll get them all down to 1/8 of an inch or so. Probably 1/4 of an inch. And that's what our box thickness will be. Yeah, Janelle, lockable casters are wonderful. I've got a bunch of them somewhere. I don't know if they're out here, if they're in the basement. But I have a bunch of them that I picked up when they were on sale at Harbor Freight. They hold like 250 pounds each or something like that. Rated for 250 or 260. So I'll be building some roller tables. All right, we'll do another cut. So we flipped it end over end, keeping the flat, the plain side against the fence. So there's our end. You can see we've only come up about, I don't know, 3/4 of an inch. So we'll come up another couple of turns. We'll do it again. All right, so as you can see, Now those lines don't match up. That's my fault for how I was moving it on the fence. But there is just the slightest piece of wood in there. And we'll take a saw and we'll go down through it. I'm not a saw expert, but there is next to no wood there. And as long as we don't get all crazy, we end up with this. Okay? So, we've got this nice thin board, which will get run through the planer, obviously. We've got this one, which still has a nice, pretty side. It's got one little inclusion up here. Definitely better than that side. So, outside, inside. We'll run both of those through the planer. Get them both nice and pretty. Making a joint. Oh, for no, you can make a lot of joints on the table saw, but no, this one we're getting our rough sawn lumber down to size to work with. The only joints we're going to use on this are going to be 45 miters on all four corners. There's going to be 45-degree bevels, and the slot that we cut in each board so that the top can slip in and the bottom can slip in. Is it buffering? I have full service, but if it's buffering, I can switch to the Wi-Fi. Maybe. Well, I switched to Wi-Fi anyway, so now if it gets crazy, let me know. I've got to put a Wi-Fi repeater out here. Oh, okay. Got to take Mrs. T out. Yeah. Blew sawdust right into my mouth. Janelle, I thought Oregon had like great internet. Was it Oregon? Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was Washington State or California. One of them I thought had passed a thing about internet speeds and access. I believe it was a West Coast or state. Anyway, I could be entirely wrong. All right. We are done with the table saw for the moment. We're going to drag this monstrosity back out. And we're going to take very light passes, because all we want to do is even out the boards, make them even to each other, and the faces even. So one board already has a smooth face on it. Your internet comes through the power lines. That's pretty nifty. Oh, you mean your power, like your outlets and stuff. And then this one, we didn't surface this side, so. Be careful now, Janelle. We got some of them South Carolina boys in chat. Right, Turner. Is that the thing where you hook your internet into it, your cable into, or your internet wire, and then plug it into an outlet, and it sends it through. It uses the house's electric wiring for the the Wi-Fi. All right, so we want to send this through. We're going to make this our plain face, and then we're going to flip it over. And we're going to send this through. So we're going to put you guys down on this end, and you're going to watch all the pretty wood chips fly out. I don't know if they'll be big chips, but... measurement, see if we're at our 1/4 inch. Just a hair heavy. All right, I gotta do one more pass. So bear with me. Man. All right. Okay. There we go. That should be right at a 1/4 inch. Perfect. All right. Been internet for years out here. Had to use a dish. Oh man, I had dish internet. Ooh, buddy. From up the canyon. Wow. Matthew, your folks are Amish? I've got Amish guys up the road that mill my lumber for me. Only time I can get good enough signal out. Oh yeah, Janelle, that does explain. I thought it was just the time of day that you were out or you were up and doing things. You know, being West Coast and all. All right. So we should be done with the planer for now. We will have to use the planer and stuff in a bit when I cut down the top and bottom. But for now, we're going to go back to the table saw. So you guys want to? Well, that wood dust. So we're going to move you guys back over here. Like I said, I don't know how far we're going to get with the boxes tonight, but if we don't get them done, that'll be next Saturday's stream. This might be a couple of day thing. Get that cleaned up a little bit. All right. boy, I can't wait till the garage is built out, or the shop is built out proper, so I don't have to move this stuff around anymore. So now that we have our pieces milled, and we are at, wow, we're just under, or just over 4 3/8. So cool. It'll be a little taller than I expected. I thought I was going to have to mill more off. But so now you can see, like, that corner there got a little chip out. That's what happens when the knife blades catch. It'll just blow out pieces. So obviously that piece will get cut away. But they do look really pretty. Let's see, I should be able to book match this. There we go. There's a nice book match. Oops, sorry. A nice book matched piece. So you can use this same trick for making panels. If you want to put them on something like a piece of plywood, you can do that, and then you can just book match strips out of bigger stock. I definitely recommend using a bandsaw, though, because it's a much thinner blade and it's a lot safer than this, and you can make that whole cut in one pass. You know, depending on the height of your saw. But I have done it for you know, making like a barn door. I wanted a sliding barn door, but I didn't want to have, you know, inch thick boards. I didn't want it to weigh 1,000 pounds. So I used a core of 3/4 inch plywood, and I put strips on like this on both sides to make it look like it was made out of solid boards. But it's also a nice way to make your lumber, you can stretch your lumber, and you get rid of a lot of the movement of wood. Wood will expand across the grain, not so much lengthwise, but across the grain with humidity if it's not sealed on all sides. So if you have, you know, pieces that are butted up perfectly together across your entire door, you can get, you know, a lot of movement on a big panel or a big table, something like that. But so now we want to take about half of that 1/4 inch, so we want about 1/8 of an inch tall blade. All right, we want our blade to stick up about 1/8 of an inch. So we pick the height of our blade, right? Roll a tooth up to the middle of our blade, so it's as high as it's going to go. And we line that up with the center of our board, you know, so that we're about halfway. We're going to go just under halfway. And I think that will do her. All right, now we want to run. How long is this? Let's see how much we actually need. So this is 34 inches long, 8, 16, and then 2 5 inches. We're gonna run one board. We're gonna pick one board here. So I like this one. We'll do this one. We'll run this one through. All right, because we only need the one for our box. Hey, Alex. Thanks for popping in, buddy. I appreciate it. In fact, Alex, I'm going to do that, if you don't mind. That way, when you're on, you can help moderate. Alex, what we're doing is we're making a little keepsake box. And, oh, Double A is still here. Nice. We're making a little keepsake box out of what I thought was cherry. I thought it was really figured cherry. But I'm starting to think that it's hickory. But whatever. You know. Yeah, I think it's hickory. I think. Initially, I thought it was cherry, but the more I work it, the more it seems like hickory. But it's a very light. I'm trying to find a spot where the light isn't reflecting off of it like a mirror. There, maybe that's not bad. So you can see it's a very light wood, a very light brown wood. It does have reddish tones, but every time I turn my camera, I loosen the Janelle, I'm not sure if I'm going to stain it any color. I'm thinking that I might use the vinegar and steel wool trick and just give it that. It's called ebonizing. Then again, since I'm going to make 2 boxes, I may do that on one of them and just leave the other one natural. Then again, maybe I'll make a bunch of them and I'll do one in red mahogany because that's my favorite stain color. I don't know. I've got about 50 different stains here, so we'll see. I think this particular board will look really nice natural. It's a very pretty wood. As for where I got it, this particular piece I got from the same guy that I got my purple poplar from. He was going to throw it in his burn pit because it had a whole bunch of knots and stuff in it, and I convinced him that I needed to buy it off of him. So he sold it to me for $10 for I don't know how long it was, maybe 10 feet by about 12-ish inches wide and an inch thick. And I ran it through the planer a couple of times to get to see what it looked like. And then I sent him a picture, and he was like, "Man, I didn't charge you near enough for that." Sucks to be you. But so we want to put our slices in about 1/4 of an inch from the end. So the easy way to figure that out is we are just shy of 4.5 inches. So we'll make sure that, yep, just shy of 4.5 inches. And then we will come over 1/4 of an inch. That should be right about there. Okay. And then we're going to move over and we're going to do 2 saw cuts to make 2 channels. But I think we're going to go with this side out. So we're going to do our saw cuts on this side. And I should probably plug my saw back. Okay, so the way to do this is you don't move your fence. You do this cut, then you turn it around, you do that other side, and then you bump your fence over, and then you do both sides again, and that way you know they're both even. But so we came up about half the thickness of the board, which is about 1/4 of an inch, and we're just going to run some cuts. So there's our first set of cuts ran. You can see we're about halfway through the board, just shy. Now this particular saw blade, it has teeth on it that are so there's 3 types of teeth on this blade. One set goes at an angle like this, one set is at an angle like that, and then one set is flat top. Oh, that's why you get that nice square cut. If you don't have the flat top, you'll have it'll have 2 little points in it. It'll be angled down with a high spot right in the center. Okay. So we want to move our saw fence over the thickness of our blade. Which would be right there. We're actually going to back that off just a nudge. There we go. That way we have just a little bit of overlap. Yeah. Yep, we're just using it like we would a dado blade. We just not going to put a dado blade on. All right, I'm going to make 2 more cuts. Okay, and there we go. That is what we were looking for. That's going to be the channel for the bottom and the top of our box. And then, so all we have to do now is we've got to make 45-degree miters for our pieces. We'll test fit our box, make sure everything fits, and all our 45s are proper. And then we'll cut down some purple poplar to go for the very top and the very bottom. Now, when we do the purple poplar, we will do it. We'll do 2 different styles here. So we obviously are going to have to work it down so that the edges of it will lock into that dado. But the top of it, I think we want the top to be flush or above the top of our rail here. Whereas the bottom, we can have it set in if we really want to, right? So, but if we have it set in on the top, then it opens up that, you know, this edge might chip out, it might break, things like that. So, and I think having it nice and flat on the top, or even raised a little bit to taper into it even, I think that would look really nice. The thing about, so if you have a box or a table or whatever that has a big flat base, any inconsistencies on the surface that you put it on will telegraph. It'll be wobbly, or, you know, like, so here it's fine, but if I build the box and set it here with a coin under one side or in the middle, you know, it'll be rocking around. It's a similar deal with tables with a big base, or even chairs with a big round base with no, like, little feet. Right? So there is that with the 45. Or now we need to do the 45. To do that, we're actually going to use the table saw because I have this set up really nice. We're actually going to cut them a little past 45, like 45.1. All right, that way our angles are a little steeper. So instead of them just meshing together, there'll be a little bit of a gap on the inside, but the points will fit nicely. All right. Um, the gap on the inside will be really small, and the glue will fill that. So we're going to. I was making a table saw sled, but I didn't get it finished yet. So we're going to do this with the stuff that nobody should ever use, and that is the factory nonsense here. All right. So the reason you don't want to use this is because it moves. All right? There's play. You can kind of control that with small pieces, so we're not going to worry about that too much. All right. But what we want to do, I'm going to get the fence out of the way here. And we want to get our blade up. Okay. Grab my little angle meter. So these are really handy. Yeah. These are really handy when you're trying to get precision cuts. Like you can set your table saw up really well, or your miter saw up really well, but it may or may not move on you. And when we're trying to get precision cuts like this, like 45.1 degrees, then the digital meter works out really well. There we go, 45.1. Oh, you can't see that. So, 45.1. Okay. All right. So, turn that off. Put that back in this little pouch so it doesn't get broken. I'll lose it here soon, I'm sure. So with the table saw sled, it fits in both these miter slots here, and it gives you a platform that you can do all kinds of stuff with a back fence that is 90 degrees to your blade, this way, and it doesn't do that. So I will get that fence finished. All I have to do to finish it is put the piece across the front, and then make sure that my back fence is 90 degrees to my blade. I may have to adjust it, but this blade is set up exactly even with my fence, so when I put the board on, the top board on, I line it up with my fence, so it should be really close to perfect right off the bat. So, when we're doing this, we need to remember, so this is the inside of our box. So we need 45 to go out, out, out. Like they're each piece is going to have two different angles on it, right? It's going to be this way, and then the next piece will be this way, so that they can mesh together. All right. So we're going to create our first 45 here. with this, I'm going to try to push this off, get it, the thing here twisted so that it can't slide, or it can't, move around. And there's no need for our blade to be out 4 inches, so we're going to drop that back down. We're going to go with that. We're going to see how that works out. Oops, I got to go in just a little bit more. I got some flat spot there. Now, ideally, you would have something like a shooting board, which you would use a hand plane on. But I haven't built one out here yet, so we're going to go with this. Go. Clean up the fuzzies. A little bit of fuzzy to clean up. This kind of stuff is what makes me think this is hickory. It does that a lot. But I'll clean the fuzzies up, and we should have a perfect 45. Well, 45.1. So we'll put that in our gauge here. And I don't see any daylight anywhere. So we're going to go with that. It's 45 degrees. If it's not exact when we test fit our box, we can fine tune it so that it is a perfect match. But the purpose of going 45.1 is so this edge can be gapped away from its mating surface a little bit, but the points will still be tight and make a perfect corner. But so here's this one. Now we need to make one going the opposite direction. So we need to cut on this side, which means we need to go we want what 8 inches is what we decided. So I will not get 8 inches here without taking the fence off. So give me a minute and I'll take the fence off. This fence is super easy to pop off. That's it. She's done. No more fence. And then I don't need these things sticking out there catching me. Alright, so 8 inches. We're going to go 8-inch tip to tip, which should be right about there. Oh, we're just a little over. We are at 8 3/16. Man, just a nudge over, but that's okay. We can take care of that. All right, so now we have this edge on this board, which is a waste edge. We don't want that. So we got to cut that off. So we want to have our tracks up. And we're going to cut that. We want to try. So this is what a 45-degree looks like. All right. So it's going to make a box. So we want that grain to kind of wrap around. So the more we cut off of that, when we cut this 45, we want it to run right along this corner here. So that way this grain will line up with it. Or pretty, as close as we can get it. Because we are losing almost 1/8 of an inch with the thickness of our blade here. So we don't want that way. This way. We want this line up about there. Really close to there. Clean up our fuzzies. Let's see how we did. Let me clean up these fuzzies off of this a little bit. Grab some. Okay. It's this side and this side. So these will line up here. And that is a really nice joint. And there we go. Our grain is going to wrap around and look really pretty. All right, so if we shorten this down, we will we'll cut off this side so that this side doesn't get any shorter and mess up that grain match. But so we need to cut on this side now because our pieces are getting smaller, which will make it. Yep, we still want that face up. So we want to do what, 8 by 5. Why don't we do this? We'll mark this at 5 inches. Okay. Flip that over. Line the outside edge of that tooth up with our mark. We'll make a 5-inch cut. So, we got some fuzzy stuff to clean up, but that's nothing that a little sandpaper won't take care of. Oh, got a tiny little spot that didn't cut. I will trim that off. with a little, my baby Japanese pool saw. Sorry, I know I'm off camera right now, but give me just a second. Just trying to knock off a tiny little bit. There we go. Like that, like that. Oh, that's the wrong side. Hey, no problem, Alex. That smoker definitely comes first. So, there we got our mitered edge, nice grain wrap. We got this one, and we got it at 5 inches on the dot. Look at us go. All right, now, so we got this waist corner we got to cut off. So we're gonna flip this piece over because we're gonna still cut from this side. So you want to line up this top corner with the outside edge of your saw teeth. Okay. And then send her through. I hit that a second time so I could clean it up a little bit. Make sure that it is a 90. Yep, it's really close. Almost a 90. Just shy. So we're going to hit that one more time. That's better. All right. Okay, so we want our other piece. So this one we're going to cut face down. Okay. No, I'm sorry. We're going to cut this one face up. What we want is our piece to match this one. Our first cut. So instead of measuring, we're going to take this piece, line it up on here, and we're going to mark it. We're going to lower it where it matches the size. And that way, there is no possibility that we can screw that up. So, usually want a nice fine point. This one doesn't have a very fine point on it, but we want this one to go from here on its long point. And we want to just tape the other side of that line. So, put this in here. Oh, I guess it would have helped if I marked the right side of the board. All right. Line that up. Get that all purty. And mark this side of the board. Get rid of our little fuzzy bit there. We want it right there. All right. Now, so we're going to go here. There we go. So we want to line up that mark with a tooth on the very inside edge on this side. I'm sorry, no. We want to leave that mark. So we're going to line it up with that side of the tooth. There we go. All right. Okay. Clean up some of this fuzzy stuff. Don't want to go too crazy with the sandpaper yet. So I don't want to lose that edge. I don't want to kill that nice sharp edge that we got there. And the sandpaper will definitely round it over very quickly, actually. Hey, Matthew. Glad to see you're still here, buddy. Now, on this one, you can see that they got a little wonky. So we're going to fix that. There we go. So this side, the lower side, was the side we wanted to keep. I don't know what happened there. Partway through, my board must have shifted. I appreciate it, Alex. Thank you. All right. So we've got one more piece to cut. We need another short side. So we got to get rid of this bevel. So we needed to go this way. We want to line the top of our tooth up with the very corner of the inside of that miter. Right about there. All right, so we got our edge gun. I appreciate it, Matthew. Thank you. So we want to, we got to cut it this way up, right? Our tracks up. So we're going to match it to the length of this one. We're going to mark it right here. Yep. Okay, now, because we have a short piece, this gets a little crazy. With the sled, it doesn't matter how short the piece is. But we're going to see what we can do here. That's not too bad. I can clean that up with some sandpaper. It's got one little high spot in it. Right here, the board shifted a little bit. Yeah, angles are rough. I'm going to have to spend some time getting the miter saw dialed in proper, so that I can do cuts like this on the miter saw without any, wobbly. Because let's be honest, these things that come with your table saw, doesn't matter how great of a table saw you have. You could have a Harvey. These ones are junk. It always should be the first thing you upgrade on any table saw is this. I shouldn't say you could have a Harvey and it would be junk, because I don't have a Harvey. So, but based on the YouTube stuff that I watch, they're all garbage. Harvey, stop, or saw stop, all of them. They're all the factory guides are junk. All right, so this is the only scrap piece that we have left out of that board. Okay, so great. That's awesome, and I will probably put that in the scrap pile and think that I'm going to do something with it and never do anything with it. All right, so our short sides are super close to the same size. That is awesome. Let's see. How do these need to line up? And our long sides are... Oh, that's right. I had to trim that one down because it got all wonky. So I'll have to trim the other one down as well. But that's like a half a pass on the table saw. Yeah, they're really good for building stuff that the measurements are not quite so intricate. One thing you learn when you build small things like this, it really improves, it forces you to improve your skills, because you can make a giant box with compound or with 45-degree miters and be off a little bit and it'll be fine. Oh, Matthew, that's not a bad idea. And if this is hickory, it burns really well. And if it comes out, it'll look really pretty. That's not a bad idea. Thank you for that. But when you're doing small stuff, the tiniest mistake will look huge. So it forces you to be better. It forces you to learn. It shows you like, all right, so I'm weak at doing miters. I need to get better at that. And you'll do a small box and you'll go, yep, I'm really bad at doing miters. And then you will figure out what you need to do, how you need to practice, what jigs you need to build to make yourself better. So I really do enjoy building small projects because it forces me to be a better woodworker. So we're gonna line these up here. We're gonna have because of how I cut this. We're not going to adjust that yet. Because of how I cut this, we're going to have one corner that doesn't match the others. But I could have used the other piece of the book match and had everything line up proper. Yeah. 60 plus old eyes. Yep, that'll do it for you every time. I should have. Oh, there we go. So here's that. Which means this piece will go here. Now when I show you guys this, remember I do have to clean up the fuzzies and stuff, so they're not, the corners aren't pressed together quite like they should be, so. But let's flip this. Oh. So, well, here. Now, obviously, that corner will meet that corner and it won't match, but that's because I didn't cut two pieces out of the other piece. But that green pattern isn't too far off from matching. This one is probably the most off, which I would have to pull it down to line it up, but that's okay. So I think that looks pretty good. That's my bin that I just showed you is my scrap bin. It's got tons of scrap metal in it. Well, most of my scrap metal in it. It needs to get taken out of here. Let's turn this thing some. Let's see, what time is it? It's 5:40. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a test fit on these. I'm going to clean these up, right? Clean up the fuzzies. Do a test fit on them. Make sure everything is good, and make any adjustments that I need to adjust. And I think we'll probably call it after a test fit, because it's going to take me a while to do the top and bottom pieces out of the purple poplar. So yeah, that older generation is they are rock solid. So we've been up for 2.5 hours now. So I'm going to do a test fit, clean up these edges, test fit it, make sure that I don't have to adjust anything, and then next week we'll do the top and bottom and get everything glued up. This is going to be strictly glue, no brads, no mechanical fasteners at all. So the idea is we're going to build the box, right? We're going to put the top and bottom in, build the box around it, glue everything together, nice and solid, get it clamped up, ready to go. And then once it's all dry, we're going to cut the top off. And we'll have a perfectly fitting top that matches the grain, and or this side of this because it becomes the top, whatever. And then we're going to line it with some foam board and some like crushed velvet stuff. I'm going to swing by Hobby Lobby and probably buy a few yards of every kind of crush they have. That way I can decide what kind of color I want. And I got to pick up some more foam board. So there's that. I like the foam board. I was saying earlier, Alex, I don't think you were in here yet. Um, if you're a member, if you are on my Facebook page, the Elegant Woodcraft page, there is a set of end tables that I did a couple months back, where the top opened and it had a drawer, and I lined both of those with purple crushed velvet, and that's the same thing I'm going to go do here. I'm just going to make the liner stick out the top just a little bit, so that way the lid has something to reference to put on. There will be. I'm not going to put a hinge or like latches or anything on it. I want this one to just be a free floating top. The other one I'm going to build out of the other piece here. I've never built one before, so we're going to attempt one once this one's done. You build the box, right, like this, and you can put your bottom in, right, but the top you leave out, and you just on one end or two sides, you put a little divot in, and you put a dado across the top, right, or a little notch, right, and so instead of it having this little piece up here, you would cut this piece off too, and then you cut a lid, a block to fit in there that fits in there snugly and sits on that lip. And I've never built one before. I don't know if it'll work. It's just an idea I had. So then the lid will just be a block of wood that you just pull out, put back in. Like I said, I've never done one before. I don't know if it'll work. Yeah, the crushed velvet stuff. I don't even know if that's the real material. I could be way off. It could be something totally different. But that's the feel I get from it. And it's been so long since I bought any that I'm not sure anymore if that's what it is. But your razor knife here. Cut some of these fibers. But it's super nice. It's like really soft. It's kind of, it's got like a grid backer, like a cloth, kind of like a screen, with that velvety stuff kind of sticking up through it, and it's super pretty. Gives it like a metallic sheen sometimes. That's really nice. I wasn't sure if it was going to work. Those end tables that I made were the first time that I used it, and now I kind of want to use it on everything. Oh, putting it in shadow boxes. I didn't think about that. Now, would you put it on just the sides? Or would you put it on the back as well? Or just the back? So all I'm doing here is I'm just cutting these fibers. So I'm not beating up that edge too much. So I got a little razor blade here, just cutting them down. So I didn't grab a knife because like a razor knife, because I want the control with just holding the blade. Hey Logan, what's up, buddy? So you do shadow boxes this way, not like a wall box. Yours are kind of sitting on a table or something, or are they hanging on a wall? Oh, Logan, no worries, bud. you're here, and that's all that counts. You know, I am I'm putting together something for Turner. I'm toying with it. It's in my brain right now. And I think using the velvet using the velvet in it would be a really okay. So that does hang on the wall. Okay. I think using the velvet in that, I think that would work out really well. Thanks, Alex. That's a solid idea. I've only just begun toying with the idea of using the velvet, so I was, kind of stuck on traditional methods, like or traditional things you would line. Oh, Janelle had told me about something for jewelry boxes. I'll have to scroll back through chat. Um, there's a type of cloth that stops jewelry from tarnishing, so I'm going to look into that as well. Because while I prefer to build furniture and stuff, building these little things is fun. I just yeah, I don't know, Alex. YouTube probably doesn't like me yet because I'm not an established channel. I guess I'm still on probation. Oh, no wonder that's not cutting. There's a big old nick in that side. Huh. But after spending all week working on that, and last night working on that basketball thing, I have been looking forward to doing something like this, just for days now, because there's no expectations from this. There's nobody who's going, hey, I need this, and I need it right now. Turner, here is where we're at so far, but I'm just doing the cleanup on the corners, getting rid of all the fuzzies and stuff. So, this is how we look. This is the outside of the box. And then obviously I'll do something with that little bit there. But I'm just doing all the cleanup on these little joints here, and then I'll once I do the cleanup and a test fit, we'll probably call it tonight, and then next week I'll start this. We'll move on to the next bit, because while I appreciate everyone here, it's the weekend, so I know people got things to do. No need in keeping everybody around for the rest of the night while I work on this. So this will be a multi-stream project. Next Saturday we will. Next Saturday we'll do the purple poplar top and bottom, and get it glued up, and probably start on the other style box that I want to do, and then the week after that we'll do the finishing on it. But I make some oak ice cream. Oak ice cream. I don't know what oak ice cream is, Logan. Like ice cream with oak flavored? I don't know if that would be good. I'm not even sure where I would get oak flavoring. I mean, I got oak. I can I can sand the crap out of a piece of oak and mix some sawdust in it. I feel like that's probably not. Boil oak in milk and then use that to make the ice cream. Interesting. Well, they have some oak. Did they use red oak or white oak or pin oak or any kind of oak? Yeah, not totally crazy. So for anybody who's just tuning in, all I'm doing is I'm taking the razor blade and cleaning off all these little fibers. So that way I don't beat up the edge too much with the sandpaper. I'm going to use the sandpaper to fine tune the corners and the edges. But I don't want to try to sand all the fibers off and end up ruining it. So make some acorn ice cream. I'll look it up. I will see what kind of oak it was. I don't do wood turning yet, although I am thinking about getting a little benchtop lathe so that I can make things like drawer pulls. Olive oil and salt is good on ice cream. Not all the time, but it's a nice little treat. I don't put it on my ice cream every time I do it, but the salt will bring out the flavor. Salt's a flavor enhancer, so it brings out the flavor more, and the olive oil is just delicious on its own. Good olive oil. It's got to be good olive oil. I really hope my 45s are good. I do know that there's one of these long pieces needs to be worked down a little bit. So that'll throw off the 45s. But we'll get it together, test fit, see what exactly needs to be worked. There's some of these spots, like the output of the out when it was coming out of the saw. You can see, like right here, this broke off instead of cutting through, so they have these like little notches. A display shelf? Yeah. Yeah, I can do that. Grass, you make topwater lures with a lathe? It's cool. Acorn caramel. You guys are getting a little too ridiculous here. Although I've heard you can this bougie olive oil. I've seen people cook down acorns. You have to boil them a couple of times to leach out all the tannins and stuff. But I don't build too many shelves, but I'm never too shy. Oh, I lie. I did build a really nice shelf not long ago. I wonder if I have pictures of it. There for a while, I was taking pictures of everything before it left the shop, and then somewhere along the line, I got caught up in the work part and moving on to the next project, and I forgot to take pictures of stuff. Which is why there's not that many pictures on Facebook. Plus, I'm really bad at updating things. Hey, kid, what's up, buddy? Huh. I have to I'm gonna have to look into Grass. Do you put videos up? It's been a long time since I scrolled through channels, like a couple of days, and I don't remember if your channel is one that is just empty or no. Well, what you should do is you should put up a couple of pictures of some. I'd like to see them. Or email me. That's always a possibility. I don't make topwater stuff. I mean, I don't make baits at all, really. I've got the fly tying stuff that I make some terrible jigs for myself with, but all right. Well, that cleaned up most of the fuzzy stuff. Let's see if we can't make... Oh! I've got a thing for this. Ugh. Of course, I put everything underneath this little workbench over here, and now I need stuff that's on the bottom of it. Oh. I got these little corner clamps off of probably Amazon, and I don't think I've ever used them. I will have to come up with a nice display shelf idea. Okay, so which way do I need this to go? Alright, so this will be this side. This is awkward. No wonder I didn't use these. Well, they don't hold very well, but it'll get the idea across. So we'll. Oh, I guess I could do it this way. Huh? Play with it. Just doing a test fit right now using some little corner clamps I've never used before. Oh, well, those get in the way of each other, so I will have to. Okay, so these go this way. Or does this one go this way? I think it's this one. Okay. So I'm using these corner clamps I've never used before. I'll be honest, I'm not really fond of them, but I can see how they would be useful for at least pre-assembly test fitting stuff. Alright. But now okay, so they hit each other that way. So I've got to. I found these when I was pulling stuff out of my Lazy Susan. I found these when I was pulling stuff out of my basement shop, trying to get stuff cleaned up, and went, huh, wonder why I never used these before. And now I know. But if I can get these to cooperate, we can look at a doo-doo box, apparently. Alright, this is wholly unacceptable. So these probably have a great purpose for something that's not this. But at least they hold it, sort of. This is, hang on. Let me move you guys so I can look at the back of my garage. Alright. I'm going to get to the comments here in a second, but here's our start of a box. These clamps don't hold very well. They're really hard to adjust, but and I can't get them on the same side because these parts like hit each other. But So it kind of twists everything. But turn this. Yeah. Pull these back together. Yeah, I think that'll look really nice. Oh, grass, I could do that. I mean, I won't be able to see the grain, but, or at least right at the corners, but, oh, jeez Louise. Why are you down there? There we go. All right, let me scroll through these here quick. Crappy Kid. They'd get them in trees. That's funny. Well, Lazy Susan. Well, Lazy Susans are pretty easy. Do you have a router? If you have a router, you can either buy or build a circle cutting jig. And I mean, I'm assuming you want it to be round. And then put a, oops, put like a post up in the middle, and you know, up to your different however many levels you have, kind of maybe taper it, or I don't know what your specific circumstances are, but they make different. They make Lazy Susan hardware kits, so they're real. I should be doing this on the other side and laying the pieces into the tape, but they make different Lazy Susan hardware kits, so you can have it do. You can have a whole bunch of different designs, where they, you know, the whole thing will turn, or different levels can turn. Ah. Yeah, crappy season. I messed up my grain here. How did I do this? Oh. Bloop. Bloop. A piece of tape here. There we go. All right, got a little bit of fine tuning to do, but the outside, not exception there. Oh, I put the tape on across the whole angle. Yeah, well, that was worthwhile. But you can see from the tops. This is the one from the end. So this is the board that needs to be trimmed down just a little bit more. And I believe I got it twisted in here. There we go. So a little bit of fine tuning with the sandpaper, or I'll grab a little planer, or I'll grab a little hand plane, micro plane, whatever they want to call it. I don't use too many hand tools, but that will be, looking at me and not the table. All right. So that'll be the size of the box, and we'll probably put a lid. You know, what is this, an inch wide? Maybe come down an inch. Put the lid. That way we have a little bit of extra meat on that. The dado for the top, and we'll be able to come down a little bit so that the liner can reference the top. But yeah, so a little bit of cleanup to do on the corners with some sandpaper, just some fine tuning. But overall, this little gap here, that was me. I just did that when I was trimming the edges with the razor. That was one of the spots that was broken off. And I thought that I messed it up. And I definitely did. So, but this is the piece that needs to be cut down just a little bit more. So overall, I'm not upset with this. I like it. Obviously, everything needs sanded, but yeah, that'll be next week. I mean, I might fine tune it off camera, to be honest. But I do have a bunch of other stuff that I got to get to, so maybe I won't. Who knows? Although I don't run power tools after about 8:30. So I might do some fine tuning with it when I want to sit out here and just relax for a minute while the laser's running or something. I have no laser projects lined up immediately. The next thing on the laser, unless I get something in right now, the next thing on the laser is going to be Alan's boards. And we're going to run a video of that. That's a whole series of videos that I'm recording. We're going to do a start to finish from purple poplar board to sign, to finished sign. So, and then here in the next couple of days, I'm going to start mass producing some of the Christmas trees. So I'm probably going to go live when I do that, and I'll just put the camera up, like I'll put the tripod all the way up so you can just look down over the shop. And when I do that, I'll probably just not be paying attention to the camera. I'll just be working. You kind of get you guys, if you want to watch or listen or whatever, you kind of get a idea of just my day-to-day shop time, I guess. But yeah, so that's 3 hours and 10 minutes. I greatly appreciate everybody stopping by. I think we'll call it there. I know it's dinner time, and I got some food I want to make before Turner goes live, because y'all make me hungry all the time. So I got to eat food beforehand and then have some for a snack later. So we're going to leave it there, and I mean, it's not going to stay there, but we're going to leave the jewelry box, keepsake box here. It's a lot deeper than I thought it would be, but meh, I think it'll be all right. And we will pick that up next Saturday at about 3 o'clock ish. We'll start working on that again. we'll do the two tops, or the top and the bottom, and get everything glued up, and then start on the second box if there's time. So thanks everybody for popping in. I greatly appreciate it, and we'll catch you, the Turner crew. We'll catch you tonight on Turner Fishing's live, if he goes live tonight. And everybody else, we'll see y'all next time. Thanks very much for popping in. Appreciate it.